Hi, my name is Amy Longard. I'm a registered holistic nutritionist and plant-based chef, and I am coming up on my 3-year anniversary since starting my business, as well as close to 3 years since I graduated from the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition. I attended the campus here in Ottawa. So a little bit about me. As I said, I am a registered holistic nutritionist and plant-based chef, so I do a lot of different things. One of the biggest areas of my work is cooking. So I offer cooking lessons across the city. I partnered up with the Loblaws and Real Canadian SuperStar. So I do various lessons featuring plant-based whole foods and healthy recipes. I also cook for yoga retreats. I've been lucky to cook at really cool places here in Canada and abroad. I offer specialized catering sometimes, every once in a while, for health and wellness events. I also work one-on-one with nutrition clients, helping them incorporate more vegetables into their diet. I do corporate workshops, so I'll go into workplaces and speak on various topics. I've also been hired as a keynote speaker for various events, and I offer workshops throughout the city on different topics. Two of my favorites are seaweed and fermentation, so I love offering workshops on those topics. And I'm also a brand ambassador for different wellness brands and even stores. So I'm doing a lot right now. In the last 3 years, I have been doing a lot. But I'm going to touch on the questions that I'm supposed to answer today for this video. So the biggest struggle for me when deciding to get into holistic nutrition. So for me, there wasn't actually a big struggle. I had made sort of a big life change, and about 5 years ago, I kind of retired from my corporate job. I used to work in corporate communications, marketing, public relations. So I retired, and then I went off to New York to attend culinary school, and I attended the Natural Gourmet Institute, which is a health supportive culinary school. So while I was there, I met a fellow Canadian, and she had attended CSNN, and she really highly recommended the program. So I decided that I would enroll and go into nutrition after, because it was a great complement to the health supportive cooking would be to know more about nutrition and how food impacts the body. So I decided to enroll, and I got into the campus in Ottawa and loved the course, loved every minute of it and all the great things I learned, and the professors. It was such a good experience. Sorry, I'm in my office right now. I thought I heard someone knocking. So let me see, what was it that inspired me to go into, I guess, cooking and nutrition? So for me, it was my own struggle with health. I had chronic colds, chronic coughs for my entire life, sinus infections, skin conditions, basically anything here or anything on my skin, I was affected. So in my 20s, I started making some changes. First of all, just eliminating things from my diet, and that landed me to a plant-based diet ultimately. And it was so amazing to see many of my health conditions either subside or greatly improve or even go away. So having chronic coughs and colds was something that plagued me forever, and I rarely have colds. I don't have sinus congestion anymore. So it was really cool for me to see that happen, and that kind of inspired me to go on and learn more and hopefully teach others. So what were my greatest challenges in setting up a business? Well, first of all, I'd say I was my own biggest obstacle. Basically, once I graduated from nutrition school, at that point, I had already developed my branding and logo. I was pretty much ready to go, but I had to work on my website and my Facebook page and get all that stuff started. And I was so apprehensive about actually doing it. I think it was just the nerves or fear of putting myself out there, maybe a bit of the negative self-talk, like, how can you start your own business? What have you got to offer? But the fact is, I obviously have a lot to offer, and so do all of you. So just make sure that when you feel the fear or the struggles, push past. It's kind of a growing pain. And growing pains are actually a good thing, because that means you're stepping into something bigger and better. So if you're like me and you're one of your own biggest opponents in success, make sure you just remind yourself that you have gifts to share with the world. And the longer you wait, the longer you sit on the fence, the less time you have helping others and doing this and stepping into this great journey for yourself. Also, structure, lack thereof, was a bit of a struggle for me. As I said, I come from a corporate background. I was a 9-to-5-er for most of my life. And I was always used to having a boss and having a schedule and having deadlines and things that kind of kept me in line. So when I started my own business, really I had to set my own schedule. I had to create my own structure, and that's something I still struggle with, but I have found ways to kind of implement my own structure, and I'm still working on that, as I said. But for example, nowadays I make sure that I get up early. No sleeping in. Just because I'm self-employed doesn't mean I can sleep in. So I still force myself to get up at a reasonable hour. Often I start the day with yoga because that just kind of clears my head and gets me ready to go for the day. But at the very least, I always start the day with a nice long walk. I go down near the Ottawa River or the Rideau Canal and just go out and clear my head and get ready for the day. So another struggle in terms of starting up with my business was that business and self-employment, it's tough, it's hard. There's so many things to learn. It's a huge learning curve, especially if you're like me and you're working for others for your entire life. It's really like everything is new. You're just constantly learning. So for me, I was tired a lot because it's just so much information to take in, so much to learn. And I always felt like I was, just once you accomplish one thing, there's another thing to add to the list. And that actually still stands true, is that every time you kind of overcome something, there's always more. And that's just how business is. The to-do list keeps getting longer, but that's okay. You keep checking things off and you keep learning more and you keep adding more and you keep growing and developing yourself as well as your business. It can also be really isolating being self-employed. You are working with others, but at the same time, you're often alone. You're spending time blogging or doing paperwork or invoicing and all that stuff, so you end up being alone. So it's something that you definitely, it's an adjustment, especially for me. I was used to working in a cubicle, and that's why I found ways to get around that. Like, I'm actually working in a co-working space. As you can see, there's a gentleman behind me. He's probably leaving for the day to go home. It's Friday afternoon. So yeah, I work among others. They're not necessarily working with my company, but I have people around me, and that's been really motivating. And I've met a lot of cool entrepreneurs that are doing amazing things as well. So that's been great. Also, another challenge was the financial aspect. So I went from having a really nice, cushy 9-to-5 job with a great salary to basically earning nothing and really building my way from the bottom. So there was a lot of changes that I had to make in my life in terms of being smart with my finances, budgeting, maybe not doing all the stuff I was doing. I couldn't eat out as much. I'd have to pack my lunches, and just some sacrifices that I had to make in order to make this business work. And on that same token, I also ended up missing a lot of things, not necessarily from a financial perspective, but just because you're working different hours than you used to, and you may be working longer or different hours than your friends and family, which means sometimes you're missing out on gatherings and events. So how has this changed my life? Well, it's definitely changed my life for the better. It's so exciting. My life was pretty good before, and now I'm getting to do my dream job. I'm able to help people, to inspire change on a daily basis, and getting great feedback from clients or people that have read my blog or people that have attended my cooking lessons, telling me that they tried a recipe or that they've seen their health improve or that they've been trying new vegetables. It's just so exciting and great to see that you're actually able to have an impact on people. And there's truly nothing better than that. So yeah, it's really been definitely life-changing, but in the most amazing, challenging, and rewarding way possible. So some tips for fellow nutritional consultants. Let me see here. I guess back to the point that business is tough. And you got to be persistent. Do not give up. That's one of the things. There's honestly times where I feel like, what am I doing? I'm crazy, especially in the beginning when I was making hardly any money, working super hard, spending lots of times doing things that you just weren't seeing the rewards right away, but it pays off really to get out there and put yourself out there. It's challenging, whether it's a fear of speaking, which I had at the beginning. I was super scared to speak in front of audiences, or even just putting yourself out there and sharing your knowledge. There's always going to be self-doubt. So it is tough, but it's all part of being in business, and we all have so much to offer. So as I said before, just make sure you do it. Just put yourself out there, and you're going to feel so rewarded. So that the tough parts are often followed by extremely, very, very rewarding. It's just super rewarding once you do something and you overcome a fear or overcome a challenge or step out in front of a group and you see all these people having aha moments as you speak. So it's pretty great. Let's see. So also back to the financial aspect, that's one of the areas that you just have to be prepared, whether it's setting yourself up financially that you can afford to do it, maybe working a job. I worked other jobs and picked I did sort of small things, working at health food stores or taking anything that I could do to get a bit of extra money in the beginning, because it's definitely a big change, especially if you're going from a well-paying job to entrepreneurship. It's a huge adjustment. So yeah, I guess those are two of the things that I have to put out there. Oh, I have another one for you guys as well. So one of the biggest things that I found is that when you get started in your business, it's easy to look out there and see what everybody else is doing and compare yourself. Stop it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Comparison truly is the thief of joy. Just remember that you have your own journey. You have your own gifts to offer. So do not compare yourself to others, those who are before you, those who come after you. We all have different ways of growing and progressing in our businesses. The way somebody else does it might be very different than the way you do it. And there's various different ways that we can all succeed. There's something out there for all of us, because we all have something to offer. And on the note of comparison, let's remember that it's a community and it's really not a competition among others who are doing the same things. We all just have so much to offer, and we all have different skills, and you're going to find clients that really, really love what you're doing. You may have some that absolutely aren't interested in what you're doing, and that's okay. Veer towards the ones that love what you're doing. And I guess my final note would be really embrace this new community that you're in. Holistic health and wellness is an amazing and emerging industry. There's so many wonderful people working not just in holistic nutrition, but as well as naturopaths, physical therapists, massage therapists, osteopaths. Like, you're going to connect with so many great people, even local shops like juice stores or health food stores. This is just an amazing and vast community. Really tap into that. So get out there and get to know people, get to know others, make connections, work together, and you're going to grow and learn. And it's going to make that sort of difficult part, the isolation and the difficulties that come along with self-employment, it's going to make that so much easier when you find your community. So like, just really connect, reach out, and I think you're gonna love it. I have, and I wish all of you the best of luck on your nutrition journeys, and I hope you'll all connect with me, whether on social media or maybe we'll see each other at a conference or trade show, and I hope that you'll come up and say hello. So I hope you all have a great day, and I look forward to meeting some of you very soon. Bye.